look at how this comes out. This is the way the flowers come out, of course. And what you're seeing is that the one on the end is ripe today. The others will be ripe later. So the first one to ripen is always the one on the end of the... And if it doesn't come off easily, it's not ready. And there's not going to be many today that come off easily. That one did.
That one came off too easily.
And this is Triple Crown?
This is Triple Crown, which are thornless, which is a feature.
Okay.
Oh, I like
Now, again, something about cane fruits. Every year it puts up new growth. This is new. This is from the ground this spring. That would be called a primo cane, as in first. Primo cane.
Okay.
It has last year's primo canes will bloom. So these bloom on second year growth. These are called fruiting canes. So the primo canes, you try to arrange them such that they'll be good for you next year, but that's
Okay.
what you're doing. The fruiting canes we will pick until we run out of fruit. At the end of the season, we go through and all the ones that had fruit, we cut them off at the ground.
Okay.
And so what you start with each year is just last year's primo canes and nothing else. And last year's primo canes, here, we had such a drought last year that these are actually not as, what shall I say, lovely as I would like.
So what do you call the canes that you harvest from?
Fruiting canes.
Fruiting. Okay.
So we're just sort of going along here. We're not going to get many because this is first day. Some of these are in better shape than others. Tug on that a little bit and see if it's loose. If it's loose,
No. Oh, well, there you go.
that'll do. When it first becomes loose is maximum sugar.
Okay.
So I'm just looking along here. Again, there are not going to be many today, and last year was so horrible for all of this.
Why?
Dry.
Okay.
Dry. And we had to make a lot of what in medicine's called triage decisions. This one will live no matter what I do. This one will die no matter what I do. These will live or die depending on what I do. And I need to get my thing to tie these up. You may see little green strips like that.
Uh-huh.
I don't have it with me, but that's from a gun that you put it on there and you squeeze it and it wraps wraps whatever you have between the jaws. And that is what I use to trellis these. Or, see, for example, this one's growing in the wrong direction. I need to attach it to something. All right, so let's see here. Come here and see if you think this one's loose. I haven't tried it.
No.
Nope. Okay. It might not be. How about that one or that one? This one maybe.
Do you know about how much rainfall these guys prefer? Like how many inches per growing season?
That one was indeed ready. How much per growing season? I don't know the answer to that. This is, we're in a zone of about 50 inches a year.
Okay.
But last year we were way down. Try this one.
But you have these irrigated, so you're giving them supplemental water.
Yeah, I'm giving them supplemental water.
Daily?
This one came off really easy.
Well, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, it doesn't have a visual telltale, but that's the object, is to find them when they are just coming off the, because if you wait, they will fall off after all. So let's go along here looking.
Are you watering these every day, Dan?
No,
No.
not by a long shot.
Just
Right
by
now,
you're
right
looking
now,
at them?
This is clay soil, and one of the features of clay soil is it holds a lot of water.
Okay.
So right now we're good. I've got a measuring device in the ground up here. I'll show you in a minute. So anyway, I don't see many, but I didn't expect many today. There's a lot coming. I mean, you can tell there's a lot gonna come here, but try a couple of these and see what you get.
Yeah, I could pull it off, but I just turn it a little bit if it doesn't go.
Yeah, how about that one maybe? I think the white ones are ones, you know, see the little white fruit? I think those are ones that you need pollinating insects.
Oh, really?
And I think that's one that wasn't pollinated. See, here's the flowers. They're almost all gone now. I don't have much to show you in that regard, but that's the flowers.
So they would still turn into a fruit even if they weren't pollinated?
Well, they'll sort of turn into fruit. Sort
Okay,
of.
yeah.
Sort of. All right, let's see here. These were particularly, I think the soil is very shallow right where we're standing. These were particularly harmed.
Meaning there's a rock right under
Yeah,
here?
there's a rock right under here. I mean, if you look on this hillside over here, see, there's a spring over there. Those rocks, there's a spring there. I mean, it just comes out of the hillside. If I had X-ray vision, I think what I would see underground here is that there are rock strata a little bit. This is south. And as you go down the hill, they're tilted up. So sometimes the dirt's deeper, where there's a cliff, if you will.
Right.
And sometimes it's shallower. And I want to give you all of these, not that we're going to.
Yeah, these guys are definitely not as lush.
And usually, to tell you the truth, if I think I'm getting a lot of these, I'll put a sheet of paper towel in the bottom. So keep coming along here. These were really hurt by the drought. Let's try a couple. And as I say, if they come off easy, it's the right time.
I've gone in my mouth.
You can do that. A little tart.
Yeah.
We had a mulberry tree at my the school I was working at.
Mulberries.
A lot of it to make mulberry ice cream.
You know, there's so many different kinds of mulberries.
Yeah.
I want one of the trees that has the long, skinny ones. Oh.
But she's gonna make some jam, so it'll also make it sweet, even if they're not like.
That's true. That's true.
I feel like as long as they're black, they should be good for jam.
True, but I like to get them at maximum sweet.
Yeah.
If I can.
Especially if you're gonna eat them whole.
That's true. So you may notice that on the south side there's more fruit.
More sun.
More sun.
Yeah, these guys are definitely not as happy as all the other ones.
Yeah. Frankly, it's amazing I was able to save them. Some pretty severe pruning. And these things, heavy pruning is necessary.
Okay.
Amongst other things, you'll get a shoot that's going out sideways.
Yeah, because then will it root into the ground?
If you let it, if it touches the ground and you leave it alone, it will root.
Yeah.
And in fact, the way we make additional plants is exactly that.
What about tomatoes? Will they, if you put them sideways, will they root as well?
Yeah. The word for that is adventitious root. And that's because tomatoes are actually a vine. I don't think that was ready. So I need to, I'll be happy to show you how it's done, but I need to do a little bit of trellising here.
About how many pounds of berries do you get off this row here, you think?
Well, that's a good question. I wish I knew the answer to that. I don't. 2 years ago, which was a good year, I can figure out how much jam we made, and that might
Yeah,
the
correlate.
corollary.
Is that a good selling item at the market?
Yes. I think the thing that gets people's attention is that it has no sugar.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Maximum sugar.
Make it with honey.
We use honey for that, which required a special pectin. But pectin is a sort of a generic term like salt. There are lots of salts,
Okay.
lots of pectins. We get it from a place in California called, unimaginatively, it's California pectin.
What is pectin exactly?
It's a, I believe it is a.
But what is it?
Protein with acid qualities.
A protein with acid qualities?
Yeah, but look it up. Don't trust me on that.
I think it makes it thick.
It occurs.
Yeah, but I'm
naturally.
wondering what it's derived
For
from.
example, if you're working from scratch and you're going to make jam, find yourself some crabapple trees.
Okay.
Crabapples are really high in pectin,
Okay.
and so you boil them down, get rid of the fruit, and now you add that to your jam. I used to do that. There's a place near where I live that every year I'd ride my bicycle. Used to be a somewhat big bicyclist, and I'd ride over there and collect a backpack full. This is a prima cane. These are prima canes.
Wow.
These are new this year.
That's healthy.
They're very healthy. Let's see how this one's going that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take this off.
If you were to not trim off the fruiting cane this year and just leave it, it would take away from your fruit next
Correct.
year?
Absolutely correct.
Okay.
So as I said, today is going to be just a few. It's exciting to get a few, but it's just a few.
Well, at least it's not overwhelming like when they're all ripened.
But there will be more, as you can see, at knee level and so forth.
You guys got black bears around here?
Hmm?
You guys got any bears around here?
No,
No. Okay.
that's East Tennessee.
East Tennessee. Okay.
Now sometimes you get this. I'll have to look and see what happened, but my guess is a cane broke off somewhere, and these are not going to make it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.